under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. Hey Jada, everyone, I want you to know that Jada is my new co-host, and we're super excited to have her.
Very excited to be here, so thank you.
So for our audience, tell us, what you do, where you're located, if you want to tell where you're located, and what you're up to.
So I am a matchmaker and date coach. I own a company called Flirting with Forever. I'm based in Washington, D.C., but I service clients everywhere. So I'm excited, starting new business. I've been matchmaking for 10 years. Excited to be a part of this with you.
Yeah, me too.
What about you? What do you have happening? You look lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So do you. You cut your hair.
I cut it all off, Christine. All off.
And it's a different color.
Yes.
Rebrand. I like. The next time I do a makeover, we're going to call it a rebranding.
Yes, that's what you should do.
Like it. I love it. So thank you for being my new co-host. Yep. I'm very happy to have you. As everybody knows, Gabby is one of my best friends. She's my soul sister. And Gabby was my co-host. And then Gabby got pregnant and she moved in with her boyfriend. And she's got a lot going on. She's really tired and she's got a lot going on. So she can't be my co-host anymore. She's decided to take a break. So I have a bunch of people that's been filling in. And Jada is going to start her podcast in this next year. So I invited her to come on and be part of the show and to kind of give her some opportunities to interview people and build her podcast before she starts doing hers.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You had asked what I'm doing. I'm so freaking tired. I have been editing like crazy. I have mentioned before that I'm producing and directing a unscripted series that we're going to be going to Argentina. My partner, Sean was creator of this show, and I developed it with him. And right now we're working on distribution. And to get distribution, we have to do what's called a sizzle reel and a pitch deck. And so a sizzle reel is a 2.5 minute video that tells about the project to get funding and to get distribution. So that's what I've been working on, and it's very exciting, and I can't wait till it's done. And when that's done, I'll have a way for people to check it out. So we'll have that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So today's episode, we are actually talking about sometimes it takes a breakup. And I know that we've talked a lot about breakups in the past here. And if anybody has not heard some of our breakup shows, please go back and listen to them. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube under 50 Shades of Bullshit. Don't forget to spell out the word 50. So I want to talk about for a second before we bring our guest on today about a different side of breakup that I was thinking about. We do talk a lot about how to heal, how to move on, and we are going to talk about those things today, have a different perspective on it. But I want to mention about the times that we're dating somebody just to be dating somebody in the interim of finding, like your person. Like maybe you meet somebody and you think that they're the right person, and then you realize they're really not. So you're just kind of dating them, and you think, oh, I'll just hang on to this person until the right person comes along. And have you ever found yourself in that position, Jada? Oh, I think Jada's frozen. If you can hear me, Jada, sometimes it helps to log out and to log back in. It happened to me a lot in the beginning of our shows. But one of the things that I found, here she comes back. So one of the things that I find is that when you're dating somebody to just date somebody, sometimes you're just there for the wrong reasons. Maybe it's for sex, maybe it's for just, a free dinner or somebody to do something with, and that's fine. But I find that I've done this, and I know other people have done it. You hang on thinking, oh, I'll just stop seeing this person when they come, when a right person comes along. And I think that blocks the right person coming along. And I also think that when that other person starts to feel that energy, they break up with you, and then you experience this hurt of an ego. Hi, there you are. It happens. Sometimes it's better just to log out and to log back in.
Yeah.
So I've had to do it. And if I ever disappear, that's what I'm doing. Just keep going. So what I was saying is that sometimes when someone breaks up with you because the energy doesn't feel right and we're not there for the right reasons, maybe we're just hanging on for no reason other than sex or someone to go out with. I was saying that it blocks the energy for the right person to come along.
Mm-hmm.
And also, say the other person breaks up with you, then you're not so much crushed that you've been broken up with, but you have this ego problem where you're like, wait a minute, I didn't like this person anyway. Why did they break up with me? I was going to break up with them. And I think that that's just a really negative kind of connotation for that type of situation. I think people's egos can get in the way. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's definitely a confidence killer, or it can be. Because everybody thinks they're so perfect. I'm guilty of it. I mean, we all think we're these fantastic people. So when we get that crush to our ego, it's a challenge. It's hard. It makes you feel like, oh my gosh, like who am I right now? I've had that moment too, where I've had to say, are you kidding me? He's not
right. When he's probably just feeding off of your energy and knowing that it's not right for you. And then they're like, well, I'm not going to stay in something that I'm not getting fulfilled either. So I just wanted to kind of mention that there are other sides of breakups, not just, getting over the heartache or it hurts or you're broken, but there's also, getting past the ego of getting broken up with, when you're like, hey, I know I wasn't into him, but why wasn't he into me?
Exactly. I agree.
So today we're talking to Jacqui.
Pugh.
Thank you. God, I could not think of how to say it. Jacqui Pugh, about breakups and being single and how it can be the best thing that ever happened to you. So Jacqui is a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And she emphasizes in singles around the world how to use their old flame to light their new fire. I'm excited to hear her. Let's bring on Jacqui.
Hi, ladies.
Welcome. Hi. You're so cute.
Guys.
How are you, Jacqui?
I'm good. I had this beautiful creative work studio in Chicago, and I was planning on moving, so I just created my little in-home studio here, and I'm kind of digging it.
I'm digging it. It's great. Well, welcome to the show. We're really excited to talk to you. So tell us this in your bio, in your introduction, you talk about how people can use their old flame to light a new fire. How do people do that?
Through the burn method, baby.
I love that. Tell us a little about that.
It's a process. It really is a process. But being somebody like what got me into life coaching was all of my breakups. And when I found the tool, when I found the key on how to actually utilize my breakup and my single time as my golden time, I was like, I need to give this to the rest of the world. I would have paid $1 million for this. And so for most people out there, obviously not everybody, but for most people, what I find, I heard you, chatting earlier about, you go out, like if you're anything like me, I was the girl that had to go from relationship to relationship to relationship. But many people also believe in the phrase of get under somebody else to get over somebody else. And ultimately that does not work. And like you talked about, there's energetics involved, and there's a reason why you're experiencing these breakups in the same dating patterns over and over and over. And for most people, it stems from childhood. And that's where the work is at, baby cakes. But once you do it, like, hello, freedom, game changer.
I love that. So what's the burn method?
Yeah. So we uncover blocks that you have. We rewire your brain. We can dive into it a little bit more towards the end, but we rewire your brain. We figure out the patterns in your life, why it is that you're doing the things that you do and how to change them. We look at your standards and create your new vision and look at your values. And I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So when you leave, you're a whole complete person. Right? It's not like Jerry Maguire being like, you complete me. No, honey.
Yeah.
Myself included, I never thought that I could be in a place ever, especially as I was nearing 30. It's like, oh my God, all the good ones are going to be taken. And I had all this anxiety. Never in a million years did I ever think that I would be in a place in my life where I could say, I love my life. I love being single. If I meet somebody, like, great. They're the bonus on, or the cherry on the top. And all of my clients feel the same way.
Yeah, that's great. It is. Now, you've written a couple of books, right? That, no, you wrote a book and then you are releasing a new podcast.
Yeah.
So your book is called Sometimes It Takes a Breakup, right?
Yes. It's not out yet, but yes.
Okay. And then when are you starting your podcast? Your podcast is called Stop Fucking Settling.
Yeah.
You're my girl. You are so my girl. Woo!
I know. When I saw your podcast name, I was like, yes, obviously I have to be on.
Yes. I was like, we might have to, talk. So when's your podcast coming?
I'm actually doing it with a girlfriend of mine who's also a love coach.
Okay.
And so it's Stop Fucking Settling, which we're both like, we don't even swear, but we're like, this is our edge. This is good.
I'll introduce it for you because I like it. I like saying
Thank you.
Stop fucking settling.
Stop fucking settling with the relationship babes. And we are currently in the process of building the foundation and everything. So it'll be releasing sometime this fall.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question for Jada. Jada, when you work with your people for coaching, for dating, do you ever refer people who are breakup coaches, or do you work specifically with breakup as well?
I work with breakup, but that's not my specialty. I usually will refer them out. I more focus on, when it comes to the matchmaking side, I'm more focused on pre-date coaching and how to be a better dater so that you can be the best suited match. But I also, when it comes to the breakup side, I'll do some coaching with them, but more often than not, I refer them out to other people in the industry that I think would be a better fit for that particular need.
So we got someone like Jacqui and Janice that we send them to heal and to get over their breakups. And then we send them back to Jada.
And then I match them and get them a man or woman or whatever they want.
I mean, that's actually what I always say. I'm like, I'm the girl that you see before the dating coach.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Ready for this.
I love that. So so I have a couple questions for you. What's the best way that people can get over an ex without having to sit there and wallow in it forever?
I love that you use the word wallow, because I always share with my clients, there's wallowing and there's allowing. And it's super important to allow our emotions. Very, very important to allow our emotions. But when we don't fully allow ourselves to experience the emotion, then we end up wallowing there and we get stuck there. But some some tangible things that you can start to do is, one, if you need to cry, I want you to cry without any guilt, because a breakup is literally, it's like somebody chose to die on purpose. Like, that is what a breakup is. It is okay to grieve.
I like that. Yeah.
Me too. It's like mourning. You're in mourning.
You're in mourning, and that's okay. And if I'm gonna date you, I want to make sure that you grieved your last relationship, because I don't want you bringing that into our relationship.
Right.
I agree. Can I say I never ever thought about the fact that it's mourning somebody who's alive, because I just had a flashback to a painful breakup that was a few years ago, 5 years ago, I think. It was, I remember how intense it was and how I allowed myself to feel feelings for somebody again. And then they freaking just stomped on my heart. And I remember just feeling like I was like, they're no longer there. I'm mourning them. And yet they were alive and just not wanting me in their lives. And that was so painful.
So painful. Because like when somebody really passes, they're gone.
It's not their choice to leave you.
Yeah. And so it's important to grieve, and it's important to look at those lessons. Like, that's what my book is all about. It's about all the lessons that I learned from all of my breakups so that you guys don't have to learn them. And all the things to look out for, and the red flags and all the things like that. So number one is feel those emotions. Number two, I always have my clients write a pros and cons list. It might sound like common knowledge. That's always not common practice.
No, smart.
Write the pros and cons list. I literally have a client who could not get out of a relationship with, I don't like to use terms because I'm not a doctor, but it was very clearly a very narcissistic relationship for 8 years. Like, the guy was living with another woman on top of her, got that one pregnant, holes in the walls, like all kinds of stuff. So much lying and cheating, and she couldn't find the will inside of her to walk away. Right.
That's
so then
tough.
She found me. She's out of it. But one of the very first things that we did was we created the pros and cons list. And I was like, girl, okay, let's go through it. What you got? She's like, well, I have 3 pros. One of them was he's cute. One of them was, I don't know. None of them had anything to do with how he treated her or the type of person he was. Okay.
Right.
And what you got on
Superficial.
The all superficial.
Yeah.
Or he was like nice in the first 2 weeks, I think. And then he changed. So she like held on to 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, that's the rest of my life. The rest of my life sucks, but 2 weeks is good.
Because then she got a little taste of that potential, right? But when we looked at the cons, we were both laughing. She was like, girl, I can write a book. She had 52 pages of cons.
And you know what? That's right. It's really important. I completely agree with you, because we may think about those at different times. We never put them together. And if you put them together, they can really help you take a step to move away and go, whoa, I'm having 20/20 vision right now.
Exactly, because it's like our gut knows things, right? Well, there's more information that goes from our gut to our brain than from our brain to our gut. So our gut might know, like, I have to get out of this, or this person is not healthy for me. This type of relationship isn't healthy for me. But then our brain is like, well, this doesn't make logical sense. Maybe not a drastic situation like hers, right? Maybe something lighter. This doesn't make logical sense. But when you put it on paper and your brain can see, oh, where are my deal breakers at? Where are my must-haves at? Oh, they're all on the cons list.
Yeah, put that shit up on your fridge and look at it every day.
I have them sleep with it. I have them put it in their purse, in their wallet. They carry it with them everywhere to constantly remind them when they want to reach out that, oh, this is why we're not reaching out. This is why we're not reaching out. This is why
do you know what I say? Change their phone number in your phone to one of the cons. And that'll remind you right there not to freaking call the a-hole or the narcissist or the gaslighter or super fucking mean to me. Don't call them then.
Don't call them. Or you can just change the name to do not pick up.
I do that too.
I do that. Me too. But what you just said, I'm like, actually, that's a really good idea of putting an exact example that really bothered you so that you actually see the example, not just like the name calling of it, but the example. That's powerful.
Yes. Because if they do that, then they're going to go, whoa, wait a minute. Why do I feel I need to reach out to the gaslighter or the dickhead that treats me like shit? So if it pops up and he's calling you and it says, dickhead who treats me like shit is calling, you're going to go, okay, no thanks. You know, block.
Well, and I actually, so when my clients do, it's a program actually, a 4-month-long program that I run. And when they do the burn program, it's not 30-day no contact. It's 3.5 months of no contact. And one of the things that they are, I mean, obviously I can't make people do it, but highly recommend it to do, is to block their ex. And I know a lot of people see that, even some coaches and therapists out there see it as being like emotionally immature, but I see it as self-preservation, you know, like in the past, even like when, you know, in the 90s, even like internet was barely out. When you went through a breakup, the only way that you knew what was going on with your ex is if you ran into them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, like, it's not healthy to be stalking and like doing all the things. Just like it's not.
Yep. You know, last week we had some Gen Zs on, or no, Gen Xs. What is it? Were they teenagers and early 20s?
I don't know. I'm an elder millennial. That's all.
Oh shit! After millennials, whatever they were young. So Jack, his name's Jack. He was on. He's 17 or 16, and he's, you know, trying to figure out how to get over a breakup. And we told him, block her from calling you, because he said she kept calling him, and then it would reopen that wound. He's like, just block it, and then out of sight, out of mind. It allows you to move away from it. And I like what you said, where you said 3 months, because I normally go to Burning Man. This is the first Burning Man since COVID that's going on, and I'm unfortunately unable to go this year, and I'm heartbroken right now. But what keeps flashing in my mind is this incredible sign that I saw at Burning Man that I take a picture of, and I look back all the time, and it says, this will not matter tomorrow, or will this not matter in, you know, it was reminding me that, does this serve me now, and will it matter in the next day, in the next hour, in the next week? And in 3 months, I pretty much can agree with you. They're going to be past it.
They're going to be past it. But as long as you do the work, because I cannot tell you, like, also how I got started in this is I went on so many first dates where the guys were clearly not over their ex. I mean, one literally verbatim told me
everything.
He was the one that got away.
It's annoying.
Like, why am I here? But it was like 5 or 10 years ago, you know? But when my clients come to me, they would probably end up like that guy, right?
Yep.
And so many of them want to go back to their ex, but by the end of it, they finally have the logical interpretation of, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to that guy. They also can't date in my program. They're not allowed to date. I'm like, why am I going to let you date? So you can go pick the same exact guy that you did before? Because that's our world. I work with men and women. Like, you're going to do the same exact thing until you look at why it happened.
Yeah. I think people should take time to heal. Yeah. Don't just get right back in a relationship or do that stupid, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. Well, sex is sex. If you want to just go have sex, that's fine. That's one thing. But as far as emotional dating, I think you should take a break. Not too long ago, I think it was back in like end of April, I had this date. He was adorable. He spent the entire date talking about every single ex he ever had and why all of them went to shit. And I just sat there the whole time going, what the actual fuck is going on? At the end of the date, I said, thanks for your love burnouts. Thank you for showing me that you're not the person for me. Thanks for dinner. I'm out. Peace out. It just was terrible. So people need to stop talking about your fucking exes on dates.
Don't talk about them. And if you find yourself talking to them or comparing them to others, then go find somebody like me or a therapist or somebody before you get back out there, or meet somebody like Jada. Like, yet. Work on that. That's a sign. That's a sign that your subconscious needs some help, and that's okay because they don't teach us how to deal with that in school.
I agree. So here's one. What are emotions? I want to hear your take on what are emotions.
Emotions and relationships are like my favorite topic.
So, I love that.
Emotions are energy and motion. So they're meant to come through and we experience them and then they pass. But what happens is usually, because society tells us it's not cute or brave or strong to feel an emotion, especially, a quote unquote bad one, is it comes through and we're like, that one's not cute. I'm just going to shove it down. But energy, emotions are a mass, right? And so it's got to go somewhere. So it stays inside of our body. But then what happens is that like energy attracts like energy. And then you get ticked off because you keep calling in the same types of experiences over and over and over. Yeah. But in reality, that's life showing you, hey, there's something there to look at. That's your clue. Like emotions are your friends. They're not your enemy. They're your friend to show you, hey, once you heal this thing, then you can go to the next level of your life. So embrace them. Ask them why they're there. They're so beneficial in order to grow.
I just had a thought, and this is probably something you work with. My thought was, what if people took a moment and thought about every breakup they had? And sometimes we get really bad connections, and just, Jacqui, if it happens, you just log off and log back in and it'll refix itself. So I'm sure Jada will be back. So what I was thinking is, if we write down each of the breakup, okay, and we wrote down what was the reason for the breakup or what was the cause, and see that are they all the same? And what's the common denominator? You. So then maybe we need to stop and look at what those things are and say, wait, before I go into the next relationship, I really need to work on this.
Yes. Nailed it. Hashtag.
Yeah. But I don't think people want to look at what their responsibility is. They just think, oh my God, I was so good to him and he just used me. Well, why did you allow him to use you? Did you pick someone who you were going to allow to use? You know what I mean? Jada, welcome back, babe. So it's like taking a moment to say, okay, this is what Jada, Jacqui, this is what I did after this year. This year has been really big for me. This year, I stopped and thought, what was my problems? What was I attracting? What was I allowing into my life? And what I was doing to cause these things? And I saw all these things and I thought, oh shit, those are the things I have to work on. Mm-hmm. And I am in a new relationship. I've been seeing him for a few months. It's a long distance, and I find myself gravitating towards some bad habits of mine that I realize I'm not worked through because I wasn't in a relationship where those things would come up, so I didn't have to address them. Now that I'm in the relationship, these old things are coming up again. I need to address them. So I think people need to stop and think, what am I doing? Not what the other person is doing to me.
I mean, absolutely. Because when we're like, why are they doing this to me? Mm-hmm. Put this in a victim mindset. And when we're in a victim mindset, like we're constantly waiting for everyone and everything else around us to change. We're waiting for the boss to change. We're waiting for the dating pool to change. We're waiting for the friends and family to change. And guess what? They're not changing. So you're going to be waiting forever. You're going to be in that space forever. That was also my same realization as you. But I was like, what's the common denominator? What's the common denominator to blame everything in my life on? And then I thought about it and I was like, it's me. It's me.
Yeah.
That's the power. That's the power. And then I hired my coach for 6 months and that's all that I did is the work that you're talking about.
Yeah. Guys ask me, what happened to your marriage? Why are you divorced? And I said, well, first of all, he cheated and he left the relationship to be with somebody else. But you know what? That wasn't his fault. It was mine. And they go, oh, did you not have sex with him? Did you not treat him well? And I said, no, I picked him. I fucking picked him. I picked the cheater, the non-communicator, and I treated him good, but it wasn't enough because I fucking picked the wrong one. That's
And
my
did you
problem.
have inkling beforehand? Before you
Yes, of course. But
did
yet
you notice the red flags? Yeah.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. He tried to cheat a couple times before, but wasn't successful because I fucking caught him. And then I still married the douchebag. But you know, I can't say too much about it because I have a 15-year-old daughter who is an absolute fucking badass. So for some reason, I needed to have this child in my life, this beautiful, amazing girl that the world needed to have. So, you know, I that's my cross to bear.
So good. So good. And I agree with you on all of that. And I agree, just like you're saying, that things happen for a reason. If we didn't meet our exes, we wouldn't go to the next level in our lives. We just wouldn't. We wouldn't be able to calm the love of our life until they shined a light on, oh, you have a wound here. This is what you get to work on.
Is that why you think that breakups would be a blessing?
That, I mean, yes, because if you, what the divorce rate right now is like what, 52%, I think. Is that right, Ada?
Yeah,
I think
52%.
Yeah. And how many of those people actually took time when they were single to do the work like I'm talking about in Burn, to get clear on who they are, and then clear on exactly what the type of person would be that would complement them, versus well, I'm in my 20s or however old, and you know, I'm supposed to have the house and the white picket fence and the job and get married and have kids and all these things. We've been dating for 2 years. We should probably get married, and I'm not in love. Or I see the red flags, or like I was the same way, right? And so people get into relationships. So I think that everybody's golden time is their single time, because you actually have a leg up on everybody else to do the work and get clear, so that you have more of a chance at a successful, healthy relationship. That's pretty freaking cool.
It is. You know, I'm really glad that you brought up the marriage thing and the percentage of divorcing, because a lot of people focus on the percentage of divorce rates and not the percentage of the successful rates. And I mentioned that last week, and Jack's brother, his older brother, and the name just slipped me. I apologize to him if he's listening. But he had mentioned, well, who's to say that these relationships are happy? And I said, no one gives a shit. What you need to focus on is making yourself right, making yourself the best person that you can be in a relationship, so that when you choose somebody, you're choosing the right person. And then not only will you have a successful marriage, successful relationship, but you will be happy because you're compatible and they're the right person for you and you're the right person for them. You've made better choices.
Exactly. And that's how I think about it. I feel like it's a ripple effect, right? Like, I feel like I personally don't have kids. I don't know if I want to have kids. I don't think I want to have kids, but if I met the right person,
hey, good for you. Trust me, there have been times I thought, would I have made a better decision?
But I see my clients as my babies. Like, they're my legacy, because they work on themselves. They're getting the tools that nobody gave us in school. They pass it on to their kids if they already have kids, or they meet an aligned partner who then they have a healthy relationship with, and they have kids, and they pass those tools down to kids, and the kids see the healthy relationship, and it's this like beautiful, beautiful ripple effect. But one of the biggest decisions we can ever make in life is the person that we end up with. But the person we end up with starts out with how we feel and view ourselves.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so one of the questions I wrote down. Okay, so you have a useful NLP tip that people can use in everyday life if they feel anxious about their ex. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so it's neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
It's all about the words that we speak, the language that we use. So you'll notice I said your deal breakers or your must-haves on your pros and cons list, because most people refer to them as deal breakers, but the way that energy works is, and then whatever it is that you believe in, okay, whatever it is that you believe in.
Energy, yes.
The way the energy source, conscious, your higher self works is it wants to give you what you want, and we're given free will, right? So whatever like we get to decide what it is that we are focusing on, what we're thinking about, what we're feeling. And if you think that you can't control how you're feeling, I challenge you on that, because yes, you can. Because our first thought we can't control, but our second thought we also can't control, because we're realizing, oh, I should correct this thought. And then the third thought we can control, and that controls how we feel. And so when we say things like, oh, this is a deal breaker, I don't want somebody who smokes, well, smoke is the main topic here. So our subconscious literally goes out and looks for people. I don't know people who smoke. I don't know people who smoke. And you're like, I just keep finding smokers. But if you have your must-haves list, I want somebody who's smoke-free. Well, now I'm looking for smoke-free people subconsciously. And energetically, I'm putting out the vibration of smoke-free, like, you know, what it would be like to be in the presence of somebody like that.
Or they can start thinking along the lines of also, I'm looking for somebody who puts his absolute body and health in a forefront of his mind. Because if somebody who is caring about their health is not going to be a smoker or a heavy drinker, or, you know, eat a bunch of junk food, they're going to actually care about what goes in their bodies. So I think those are ways of also trying to put the positive spin on what you're wanting, what you're needing.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I totally forgot what you asked me. You asked me for an NLP tip. So tip that you can start to look at the language that you guys use. But let's say that you're at work or something and you're getting anxious about your ex, and you could even use this, maybe you're getting anxious about your boss or somebody else in your life. You can literally just close your eyes, and anybody listening can do this right now with me. 5 seconds. Close your eyes, and I want you to see this person or situation out in the distance in front of you. And then I want you to turn that person into a color. Then you're going to turn that color into a shape. And then that colored shape is going to move to the left of you. It's going to start moving past your left ear. It's going to go behind your head and fall off a cliff. You can't see it anymore. In front of you, the bright white light path that you're walking into, free space. And you open up your eyes. And I mean, you can see if you feel any different. For me, when I was going through one of my worst breakups, I would do that at work all the time. I was like, oh, okay, immediate relief for even 5 minutes, right? It's just like a quick little, it's a tiny, tiny little thing that that you can start utilizing on a daily basis whenever you need it. And the other thing, which is not NLP, and that's also pretty basic thing, but I've had, you know, I have a guy that I met in Bali just randomly, and years later he messages me and he's like, Jacqui, I run like 5 different businesses and I have all these thoughts in my head and I cannot sleep at night. He's like, do you have any tips? So I gave him this tip, because when we go, for you guys listening, like going through breakups and stuff, I'm sure your mind is going a million miles a minute while you're trying to go to sleep. So all I want you to do is to close your eyes, put your hand on your belly. You're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, but you're actually going to breathe in, filling your belly up with as much air as possible, opposite of what society says, okay? That's our center of our body, and where attention goes, energy flows, right? So all of our energy is inside of our body. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's in the inside of our body. And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe super slow, and you're going to count in your head down from 5, and as you exhale, you're going to count down from 5. And before we do it, I'm going to explain why. Okay. So we can breathe one of 2 ways. We can breathe short and shallow up in our chest, which is like
anxiety ridden.
Yes. The anxiety, the tiger's coming, we're going to die. But when we breathe slow and deep, it naturally activates our parasympathetic nervous system. So our signal literally goes to our brain saying everything is okay. I'm safe right now. Now, the reason why we are actually going to count the numbers in our head is because, believe it or not, especially for my ladies, but believe it or not, we can only have one thought at a time.
Yep. We can't think of the bad shit while we're counting.
Exactly. So you're going to count. I like to count backwards. You can count forwards. It doesn't really matter. But I usually aim for 10 breaths. So breathing in for 5, exhaling for 5, 10 times. If you're laying there in bed and you start realizing that you're thinking about your dog or lemons or whatever, it's okay.
Then you're not counting.
Okay, because your brain's
You're distracted.
Gonna do that. Yeah, just start back down
Mhm.
at 1.
Mhm.
And I usually never make it to 10 before I fall asleep. It worked for the guy I just told you. It works for so many of my clients. And if you're at work or something and you don't have time to do 10 slow, deep breaths, you can do at least one, or run to the bathroom and go pee really quick, or just stand in the stall and take a couple deep breaths. And I'm telling you, you will feel so much different. So what it looks like is you're going to close your eyes, hand on your belly. You're going to breathe in through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 5. Imagine all of the worry, stress, fear, anxiety come up to your shoulders. Keep counting and exhale for 5. And as you exhale, I want you to see all that worry, stress, fear, and anxiety roll off your shoulders into the ground and dissipate. And we're going to do one more. Breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and just a fresh little reset. Just a little reset.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it calms your nervous system. It slows your everything down. It just makes you. Yeah, I needed this yesterday when I was pissed off at my daughter and I was going fucking crazy. I'm going to remember this because I'm supposed to do this. When I talked about anger management with Janice on her podcast last week, I was supposed to do this yesterday and I did not. So thank you for reminding me. I needed that nice refresher.
I wasn't even going to do that today. All of a sudden, I just felt called to do that.
You were called to do it because I needed a fucking
Yeah.
slap in the head to remind me. So we don't have much left. Time goes way too fast when we're having fun. But tell us really quick, how would you guide people to heal? What's the suggestion that you can guide them to heal, and then how can they work with you?
Yeah, so my suggestion is number 1, feel your feels. They're okay. You're human. I'm human. Also, don't beat yourself up if you feel like I've dealt with this thing before. You're human and you have memories. That's okay. As you heal, those feelings will be less and less and less. Okay, so that's the first step. Number 2, I would get support. And if you find that using your friends and family as support, I think that's wonderful. And if you find that all of your time is no longer about your relationship with them and about you venting or complaining or crying, then it's time to seek support like myself or a therapist or somebody like that. If you want it to work with me, the door is actually for burn round 12 just happened. 50% of my clients have now found the love of their life, getting married, gotten engaged.
Oh, that's a great.
Yeah, which is, so there's the new 50%, right? Which is
woo!
exciting. We talked about the burn method in the beginning of heal, deal, move on from the past. We look at your past, why you're there. We look at personality types, attachment styles, your value system, which dictates whether you're fulfilled or unfulfilled with literally every single decision that you make in your life. We rebuild your standards, your new vision, and then I set you free. And you don't have to be stuck in therapy for ever.
Well,
just little spot touch-ins, and therapy every now and then I think is great as well. But it's important to take action.
Yeah, I think it's important to take action, but I'm with you there. I also feel like we shouldn't be using therapy as a crutch. We shouldn't also be using therapy as a bitch and moan session and going on and on and on about the problem without finding steps to fix the problems, to heal. I think healing, realizing what the problem is, figuring out how to fix those problems and heal from them, that is super, super important. So that's why I have this podcast. This is the very reason. I want to help people heal. I want to help people find their way. I want people to help find where their significant other is, or maybe even they're with their significant other. And these are things that you can heal within your fucking relationship or marriage. Maybe you're having problems and you don't want to face it. And instead of being part of the 52 fucking percent with the divorce, why don't you stop and think about what the goddamn problem is, fix it within yourself, and then look at your partner in a different way. And if your partner's not stepping up, then have a communication with that partner to fix that.
Amen, girl. I mean, I even have people who relationships that need to be worked on, people who were married that went through burn, and all of their relationships improved. But yeah, I mean, you can't
agree
about it. Like you're saying, you have to do something about it.
Yeah. I 100%. I think that it's really important to really figure out who we are as people, because we can't be in a healthy, happy relationship if we're not healthy and we're not happy ourselves. Period. Yeah. I used to not believe that. I used to think, oh, I'll find my happiness or my health, within, the being with somebody who makes me happy. I realized nobody makes me happy but me. I'm the only one that makes me happy. And then within my happiness will come that relationship happiness, that other person happiness, because I'm choosing the right person and I'm bringing in that positive thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you, Jacqui.
I love you, lady. Too. I love your energy.
It was so good.
Yeah. So tell us, so you were talking about your podcast. I want to put down, if DJ, our producer, can put across the screen Jacqui's contact information again, so people can find you. And you're going to start your podcast when? You said in the fall?
In the fall.
Which is around the corner.
Okay. I don't have the exact release date yet, but I'm sure it'll be on my website and all over social media. And if you are interested in burn, the link below, JacquiPugh.com. If you just go to programs, you'll see it there, change my life in 14 weeks, and you can fill out the application there. And if I feel like I can help you, we'll hop on a call. And I love it. And then my Instagram is always filled with like fun stuff and silly stuff and inspirational value, so you can get freebies there.
So Jacqui, tell us we have a few more minutes left. Tell us on your journey now that you've done your healing and you're in this process. Are you still single? Are you dating? What's your deal?
I actually took a long break from dating after I worked on myself, because I wanted to make sure that everything that I worked on integrated within me. And I just got back out into the dating world, which I'm really excited. I will tell you, everybody listening, the quality of people that have shown up in my life, 10 times different than before. Also,
that's amazing.
I wouldn't have been attracted to those types of people who treat me nicely.
True. True. I agree. 100%. I think that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for sharing. That's I love it when people, share their journey. And I really think that what you talked about today was really valuable, and I hope that it helps somebody. And if they find themselves on this journey and they need to make some changes, I hope that they reach out to you and that we can make that happen.
Oh, me too.
I want to say thank you for being here. Jada, thanks for being my new girl. And I want to say thank you to everybody who comes and sees us. Every week, we have listeners who come back and listen and participate in the show. And I can't thank everybody enough for that. I do think that this group that we are in, this professional dating group that we're all in, is so beneficial. It has brought some incredible people to the show, and everybody is just so strong in their field, and it's just so great to be a part of that and to experience that kind of thing. I love it. But Jacqui, you're the bomb. Oh, and I love your Instagram stuff. Do you also do really quick? Do you do TikTok?
I'm just getting on TikTok. I have a PR intern who's adorable and amazing, and she just graduated college. So I'm like, girl, you got to teach me all the things because I don't know. So I'm on
It's
TikTok.
fun.
You actually, I'm like totally just based on this. I have I'm about to release the 7 secrets to becoming single AF and loving life that all of my clients.
I love it.
And it's in my closed Facebook group. So if anybody wants that as well,
Cool.
the link on my Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And until next week, same time, same place, let's just keep this shit real.
Keeping it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.